And then Harry Potter too. See, I always identified with Harry Potter a little bit. His world was so cool. I was thinking, man, I've got a good family here and everything, but would I trade? Yeah, I'd trade. Zap him,
wizard.
Zap him, so I can be a wizard. Like Harry Potter's supposed to be the sad story. He is the most famous, good-looking wizard in a wizard world. He has a cool ass scar.
Is he supposed to be good looking? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I picture Daniel Radcliffe. Even in the books, he's like above average looking. He's certainly not like geeky or anything or like gross. He just needs to like wash his hair. That's his main problem. But you know, he's famous, rich, good looking, powerful, well connected. It's not a sad story. Okay. His biggest problem is that there's a Hitler running around he's got to deal with, but that's everybody's problem. It's not like it's his personal Hitler. Everybody hates Voldemort. He's a problem for the world.
I am familiar enough to know he is a little like a personal Hitler, like he wanted to.
he
wanted to kill Harry more than anybody else to get his powers back. His mind,
which was the only, absolutely. That's a cool movie there where they like attach the guns to his hands.
I haven't seen that. He does a bunch of weird stuff now, and I like it.
He made so much Harry Potter movie money, he gets to do whatever he wants. Yeah.
That's great. I think Elijah Wood does that too, which is weird because they're both like short, similar looking guys who starred in enormous fantasy series, and now they just do whatever movies they want.
Are you trying to convince me they're not the same person?
They are not. They are. Can you imagine how how much that dude would run fantasy if you parlay Frodo into Harry Potter?
You know, they sign autographs for one another. They get recognized all the time. Like, oh, I love you so much. And then they start going on about the wrong universe.
Yeah. I loved you and Sam. Thanks. Sign as fucking Elijah.
I like that. There's a lot of black guys that happens to as well. I see them on Twitter. Like, I've signed your name so many times, man. I'm getting good at it.
I think that's polite. You know, they came up, they think you're someone else. You know what? I will sign as Elijah Wood. Boom. Give this person a story.
I like it.
Do you think they're going to bring Elijah Wood back at some point for another run at Frodo?
No,
because I do.
No, if they did, they'd have to do that. Well, actually, for Elijah Wood, he might be the one person on Earth who hasn't aged a day in the past 25 years.
He's aged in a way that makeup and CGI can throw him right back into a Frodo character.
Yeah, he does. He looks almost.
There's some people who aged like just perfectly so that they can still work in film forever.
It's a scene that I love in Return of the King, but like lots of movies, if you guys are similar to me, like I don't want to watch a scene that I recall so fondly. Like I like the build up into it. Like I like watching the film again. Like that scene when they're in Minas Tirith and the troll is banging on the gate at the top of Minas Tirith, and Gandalf is with Mary Pippin behind the wall, and Pippin's like, "Is this how it ends?" And he's like, "End? No.
This is the end.
Doesn't end here." And then like he does that whole thing, and like it's such a fucking excellent scene. And every time I get to that in the movie, I'm like, damn, I'm glad I watched the whole movie to like get to this one again.
Yeah, I like that scene a lot.
Love that scene. I get shivers.
And in the background, you can see the whole battlefield in the distance, Mount Doom and everything. And then you see
which movie is this?
Return of the King.
The third one. Yeah. And then all of a sudden at like Minas Morgul, that green fucking spire of energy shoots into the end of the sky, and they see, and Frodo and Sam see it because they're right there. And Gandalf and Mary or whoever looks up and they see it too. And it gives you that cool perspective because it's rare in the movie that you're like, I wonder where Gandalf is right now in perspective to Frodo. But in that moment, you're like, oh yeah, Gandalf's basically looking at Frodo in that moment. That's cool. Yeah.
It's a great
they're about to, they're going to remake that thing and they're going to fix it this time. It's going to be so much better. Not only that, Warner Brothers is going to fix Harry Potter for us.
I heard that too.
No, I don't care about that.
Yeah, that's not your.
Actually, you know what? In solidarity, I care about that.
Who should they cast as Harry Potter? Tom Holland.
The person who's going to be Harry Potter, we don't know. It's going to be a 10-year-old child.
It's probably a famous 10-year-old kid out there.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be. It'll be all 10-year-old kids because they want to do a year of the show for every year of the book. 7 years, 7 seasons, starting with 10-year-old.
Oh, it's children. TV.
Yeah, on HBO.
Ah.
HBO,
so then they
might fuck.
Owned by Warner Brothers.
So they're gonna pick they usually when they do this shit like pick an unknown actor, right? Like, especially for a
It
kid.
will be a 10-year-old. So again, how many 10-year-old actors do we know?
Yeah, I follow him when. That's
Well, there's
I don't
little Jimmy.
Little
He just got his
Jimmy.
notebook.
Great.
Stevie, the best actors. I guess that's not true because Frodo did a bunch of stuff, and I don't know if Daniel Radcliffe was an actor before Harry Potter, if they just threw him in that.
They were little children who we'd never seen before. All of them were. I think that it was like a big casting call.
They did a really good job of the casting. Like, all jokes aside, in Harry Potter, those stars turned out to be good through young adulthood.
As actors, you mean?
As actors, yeah. And a lot of them sort of grew up kind of attractive, like Hollywood attractive.
I don't think any of them were ugly.
Yeah. I guess I was thinking of Weasley, but whatever. He's not ugly. It's easy to get that wrong. You know, how many kids like get super fucking awkward and weird looking, or they're good at acting at 8 and they're terrible at 14. They get all self-conscious, and you can see them thinking about what people think about them while they're acting.
What makes a child actor interesting looking can often mean that they'll be a bizarre looking adult as well. Sometimes, like, you see them grow, it's like, oh man, you're the cutest kid ever.
Yeah.
And they mature into a weirdly aged, cute man, but cute because he has childlike features. Somehow, like Macaulay Culkin has a bit of an odd look to him, especially a few years ago when he was dating Mila Kunis, or maybe 8 years ago. He looked real.
Zach,
yeah.
Can you find 2 pictures for me? I want to see Bran Stark. Bran Stark from Game of Thrones in season 1 and season 8. Bran Stark in season 1. Like, I did not see him growing into like an ugly young adult. And Zach will find season 1 in a second.
I don't remember him being ugly. I remember him like being way too fucking big for his wheelchair with his like gangly like 16-year-old boy legs. But I'm trying to picture his face. Maybe
I remember him being super ugly. We'll see if you agree. So there he is in season 1, especially on the left, right? That's a cute kid.
It's a normal looking kid.
Yeah. And then find a season 8 for me. Try to make my point. Find them all.
Trying to make my point.
Okay. You don't see him there though. Like, I like that it's juxtaposed and you can see how attractive he is on the left. On the right, like, you have to get a better picture in season 8. He doesn't look good.
Maybe I'm misremembering. Honestly, every time Bran was on screen, I don't fucking care. Like, I just every time he'd come on there, it'd be like enough.
Every time season 8 was on your TV,
yeah,
he didn't care.